I'm not going to stand here in front of one of the great wonders of the world and argue about an old movie. I'll go back inside. If you figure out some plan to make $800 last a lifetime, knock on the door. I'll be in there.
You're listening to the Keeping Your Money Show with Jamie Westenbarger and Bart Steinler.
All right, welcome back to Keeping Your Money Show. Jamie Westenbarger, joined as always by Bart Steinler. If you ever have a question about the show, maybe you like something, maybe you don't like something, you're welcome to give us a call. 888-98-MONEY is the number. 888-986-6639. We don't take calls on the air, but somebody does answer the phone 24 hours a day. You're also welcome to give us an email. It's info, that's info, at keepingyourmoney.com. If you're not following us on Facebook, why are you not following us on Facebook? Go do it right now. Facebook.com/keepingyourmoney. You'll get updates on the show, events that we have going on. We do have an event coming up. See it posted on our website here probably later next week.
I think it's going to be October 30th and November 1st.
Correct. So we'll be over at Western Michigan University on Beltline. Another town hall style meeting where we talk about the things that maybe are affecting you or that you have concerns about or questions, whether it's Social Security or taxes or investments or asset allocation or income preparation or whatever. We just kind of, it's an open forum where sometimes we feel like people want to ask advice, but maybe they're a little intimidated or they don't really know how to set up an appointment and come in. Great way for you to just show up and be able to ask your questions. No cost to attend, but you do need to RSVP because space is limited. So if you're interested in attending either one of those, like I said, you can check out our website at keepingyourmoney.com or feel free to give us a call to RSVP at 888-986-6639. That's October 30th and November 1st. We're going to skip Halloween. And both of those will be at 6 o'clock at Western Michigan University. So
yeah, we're not saying that you should come in your costume.
No,
it's not a costume party.
It's not a costume party.
Okay.
So one of the things that bugs me about a lot of tools that are out there, or even information out there, when it comes
so by tools you mean tools to help somebody. You're not like describing a person,
right? Like online tools.
Okay. All right.
So that are out there to help people like prepare for retirement or get ready for retirement. They leave out something that I'm not sure where this like kind of misnomer came from, but this idea that, well, since taxes will be lower in retirement than they are while you're working. It's a common thing that we hear said over and over and over again. And I don't know that that's necessarily true. I think for a lot of people, that may not be true. They may have higher taxes, both because the government can't stop spending money, but also because if you have a decent nest egg, depending on how you're going to draw your retirement income, can have a real impact on what exactly your tax rate is. And if you're not taking it into account, for instance, even when I was printing this article, there was an ad that popped up for a retirement ready check, and it was from a national company, and you click on it and it has a little graph and everything. So I just went through it. I was just like, oh, let's see what this is all about, right? I haven't seen this one before. And it asks you for your age, it asks you for your income, it asks you for your risk tolerance, how much money you have invested, how much you put away a month, and when do you want to retire. Those are the 6 questions it asks you, right? And based on those 6 questions, it says you have a 96% chance of retiring successfully. Well, here's the problem with that. How on earth do they know that? Because I didn't tell them where any of the money was. So if you have $2 million and it's all in tax-deferred accounts like 401ks and IRAs, the reality is you're going to have to pay federal and state income tax on that when you take it out. If you have brokerage accounts, you could potentially have to pay the surtax on that, plus you're going to have to pay capital gains on that. If you have pensions, pensions are taxed in many instances. If you have Social Security, Social Security is taxed in many instances. You start adding all of that up, and it's like, well, okay, I might have $2 million, but in all reality, if I'm going to pay 30% taxes on that or 40% taxes on that, that calculator should need to know that information because that's a pretty significant thing to know about. And we just don't hear people talk enough about tax allocation, diversification of assets based on tax qualifications. I don't know why we don't hear more about it.
Yeah, and when you run a lot of these programs, it talks about the withdrawal rate that you're going to take your money out. If you're going to take it out, 3% a year of your total assets, or 4 or 5, and what we've learned is that the higher the amount that you're going to withdraw as a percentage each year, the less likely your plan is going to last, a longer period of time. But they don't talk about the tax implications of where you have your money, and that's actually going to have a larger impact on it, possibly, than the rate that you're taking the money out. But they totally ignore that.
Well, and the other thing is there. If you're taking income in retirement and you haven't strategized how you're taking that income based on tax treatment, you're really missing a big chunk of that. Because, for instance, if you're married, okay, and let's say you're drawing out $30,000 a year from your investments, okay. Well, if you're drawing out $30,000 and you both claim Social Security and you had reasonably good jobs, the likelihood is your combined income, because they take 50% of your Social Security for this calculation, plus the withdrawal, if it was withdrawal out of a 401k, that's considered income, right? You're probably going to be over the $44,000, which means 85% of your Social Security is going to be taxed. All right. So if you're collecting, let's say you're both collecting $2,000 a month in Social Security. So you're collecting $48,000 a year in Social Security. You went from having, maybe 50% of that tax, or maybe none of that taxed, to now having 85% of that taxed. That's a huge difference. That's a huge difference in what you're going to be paying in taxes. And you might say, well, I've got to live. I need that $30,000. I really don't have a choice. But you do, because what if you had money in a Roth? Well, now you take out that $30,000. First of all, it's not taxed, and second of all, on top of that, it doesn't count towards the equation on whether Social Security is taxed. So that one decision on where that money came from potentially impacted you from a tax standpoint to the tune of probably over $10,000.
Right.
Simply because of one decision on where you were going to take that money from. That's huge.
It is huge. And, it's amazing because when people come in and they lay out all their information for us about how they're going to be able to, these are my income sources and these are, this is everything I got to pay my bills in retirement. And they bring in this sheet from the Social Security Administration, and it gives them an estimate of what that amount is. And they are assuming almost every time that they're going to get all of that amount of money. Okay.
Right.
So first of all, it is an estimate. So by the time you actually retire, it could be better or worse than the number that you're estimating.
Well, and keep in mind, it's an estimate based on what your track record of earning has been.
Right.
So if your last 2 years you went down to part-time, or you changed jobs to something that paid much less, that estimate will not be accurate.
Right. And the other thing is it doesn't put anything in there about the taxes that are going to be taken out of that,
or the Medicare,
or the Medicare. So a lot of times, people come in. Well, I'm going to get 2,000. My wife's going to get 1,500. So we got 3,500 a month right off the bat. Well, no, you don't. And when people are looking at that and looking at how much they're going to be able to spend in retirement, it's important to understand that number is not spendable money. It's gross income that will be deducted by taxation.
Yep, absolutely. And I think then on top of that, you look at Medicare. You pay more for Medicare based on your income from the year before. So again, it's modified gross income. Things like Roth, Roth income does not count against that. Your capital gains or dividend income is different than distributions from an IRA or 401k. So you have to really be knowledgeable about how those things are treated because it can make such a huge difference. You also have to be knowledgeable about those assets even when you're moving them around. I told a story a couple of months ago, but I think it's definitely worth repeating. We had a gentleman that came in. He had money in his 401k. We'll call it $1 million just because it makes the numbers easy to do the math in my head. Okay. In the process of transferring that, we found out that $700,000 of that was after-tax money, which can be rolled into a Roth versus into a traditional IRA. Now, the company it was coming from did not offer that information up. They were 100% ready to send that to an IRA, but the statements looked weird. They didn't look the way they should to me. And when you've looked at statements for 19 years, you can start to pick them apart a little bit, right? And so I said, well, why are these separated and they look like they're the exact same thing? And I asked some other questions. Guy on the phone, no idea. He says, I have no idea. That's a great question. Did you want to go ahead and just transfer that to IRA? I go, no, I'd like to find out why these are different. Well, after a couple hours of going back and forth and phone calls, we come to find out it's after tax. So what does that mean? That means $600,000 or $700,000 that would have been taxed, that whatever his tax rate was, now moves into a Roth account where he'll pay no taxes on that forever. That difference, that small difference alone, will pay his family's fees to have a financial advisor for the rest of their lives.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that to pat myself on the back. That's something that advisors do every day of the week, all the time. It's understanding that you shouldn't just take money out of your IRA. You should sit down and figure out what's the best way to do that from a tax standpoint. It could save you thousands of dollars a year to have that kind of information at your fingertips. So when you're thinking about getting a retirement income plan in order, make sure you have someone help you with it, and make sure that the tax implications are just as important as the asset allocation is. All right, coming up, we got Steve Broll, our CPA, in here to talk about some things in regards to the tax law changes for the year right here on the Keeping Your Money Show.
There's no one-size-fits-all when it comes to planning your future. Jamie, Bart, and all of the advisors at the Keeping Your Money Show understand that your financial goals are unique and your needs are going to change at varying stages of your life. Our team of advisors can help you tailor a financial plan that meets your unique needs. Call us today at 1-888-98-MONEY or visit keepingyourmoney.com to schedule your free initial consultation.